Good evening and welcome back to Coachable Moments. I'm your host, Pat GPT. I have a very good title today, very near and dear to my heart, something that I've heard several of you guys talk about, and I wanted to have a discussion around this topic called Who's Loving You? And I have, over the last few weeks, been in conversation with several of my friends, and, you know, I always hear pretty much the same thing. And that is, I do so much for other people, but nobody is ever there for me when I need them to be. And I have a strong feeling that several of you can identify with that feeling, because we'll have family members that'll reach out to us every time they need to borrow some money, or they need a place to stay, or whatever the case may be. And you, being the good-hearted person that you are, you always come through for everybody. And we work so hard to make sure that we're never really in a bad situation, because we know, for one, that there's not a lot of people that we can call on when we need help, because we're always the person that everybody else goes to when they need help. We have to look out for ourselves. So every now and then you'll find yourself in a moment, you'll be stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you just need some help. And you think to yourself, who can I call if I'm down? One of my good friends, he has a saying, and it's, who saves Superman? Who comes to his rescue? Because you spend so much of your life being the superhero for everybody. You're always solving problems, getting people out of jams. You're their version of Superman. But who saves you when you're at your weakest moment? You're at your lowest. Your back is against the wall. And I've talked to several friends about this situation, and I always go back to the parable about the 10 virgins. 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. And it's very important to know that on this journey of life, you will need every drop of oil for your lantern in order for you to see from start to finish. And you have to be very careful on who you share with. And it's not that you have a bad heart or you don't have a giving spirit, but you have to be smart on the front end to know that you can't give more than you can afford to give. Because if you need it back, then if that person is not able to give it back at the time that you need it, you'll find yourself in a really bad situation, and you may not have anybody to come to your rescue. So over the last several years, I dedicated this system that I use, and it's helped me out a lot. Because you can't give what you need, because it never fails that when you need it back, the other person won't be able to give it back. So you give what you can afford to give away. Personally, I don't believe in lending money to family unless it's someone that I know will give it back. Otherwise, I'll just give it to them, and if they give it, I normally give it without the expectation. I'll let them know, hey, this is a gift. Don't worry about paying me back. This is what I'm able to do for you comfortably, without hurting myself. Because what you'll find is that, especially if you have a good heart, you're there for so many people. And if the shoe was on the other foot, would they be there for you if they could and had it to do? And not to say that you give with the expectation of giving, of getting it back, but you have to be smart enough to know that if you give away what you've been blessed with to someone that wouldn't do the same for you, then there's nothing wrong with protecting yourself and maybe not giving everything that they ask for. For example, I heard a gentleman say that, if he was asked by a family member, for $50,000 to help them start a business, if he didn't have it to just give away, he'd give away what he had. So he was like, I may be able to just give him $10,000 just as a gift, and you don't have to worry about paying me back. But That's his way of helping, but at the same time, not hurting himself. So back to my question, who's loving you? Because if you're expecting everyone else to do it or anyone else to do it besides you, you've already missed the mark. You have the primary responsibility of loving yourself and taking care of yourself, because it's no guarantee that anyone else will do it. Over the last couple of years, I've been inundated with this term about self-care. It's a self-care day. Somebody will say, "Hey, I'm just out doing a little self-care. It's Friday. It's my Friday off. I'm just doing something for me." Well, you should have the mindset that that is a regular thing and not just a once a week thing or once a month thing. Nobody is going to love you like you love you. So make sure that you have yourself as a priority, because it's hard to imagine someone else having you as a priority if you don't have yourself as a priority. Why would they? You're not a priority to yourself. Why would I make you a priority in my life? Because I'm definitely a priority in mine. So I'm not going to be dependent on someone else to make me feel good about myself or provide those gifts or those acts of service to me that I can do for myself. Now, if they do decide to do that, that's a blessing. I definitely appreciate it, but I do have the primary responsibility of taking care of myself. And I've heard the old adage that selfish people live longer. And I had a debate with a friend of mine about whether it's good or bad to be selfish. And personally, I don't believe it's a bad thing to be selfish. And what I mean by that, you have to be the focus of a lot of the things that you do. Oftentimes we'll go to work, we'll work a job that we hate to get paid to do things for everybody but ourselves. And it doesn't have to be, selfish to the point that you only do things for yourself, but you do have to do those things to reward yourself and to physically and mentally take care of yourself in order to sustain a healthy life. Personally, I get massages regularly because I have a responsibility to take care of my temple. So if I'm stressed out and my body's in knots, how can I be good for myself? I can't. So I've got to do something about it, and I have to have a regular routine of that. So, massages. I love going to the chiropractor to get adjustments. To each his own. Some people don't believe in doing that, but personally, I enjoy it. I do a lot of acupuncture, cryotherapy. I have a thing for being in the cold. We'll talk about that on another podcast about the benefits of cold therapy and how it'll help you if you take advantage of that. So think about that in your day-to-day goings and coming as to what are you doing for yourself. I mean, you were not put on the planet to go to work, to be a slave, just so everyone else can enjoy the fruits of your labor and you not ever doing anything for yourself. That's not the design of the planet. It's not a healthy design for a happy life. I heard a gentleman today say that he's going to buy himself a nice car when he gets close to 60, 65 years old. And, he's only in his early 30s at this point. So who wants to delay doing something for yourself for 30 years from now when you could do it, within the next several months to, at least the next year or two, you can do some things for yourself. So I always advise that you make healthy purchases. Don't overextend yourself. But you do need to have a plan of care in place for yourself that you can do on a consistent basis. Do not go through life ignoring yourself and paying attention to everyone else but yourself. You'll find that when you're in that nursing home, 60, 65 years old, hopefully not by then, but when you are in that nursing home, not a lot of people come to your rescue. They don't come see about you. They don't come do anything. So it's up to you to live a healthy life, a happy life, and make sure you have a plan in place so that you can enjoy your time now and not wait until you're retired in order to take advantage of each moment. I hope this message was a blessing to someone. Uh, Again, I'll look forward to talking to you on the next episode of Coachable Moments. Be blessed.